WNBA, and it all connects to Houston. But this is from Tom Friend Sports Business Journal.
Mhm.
It's the crux of pertaining to Houston. But sources insisted that because Hartford, like Boston, did not apply for a franchise in the most recent round of expansion, the WNBA's Board of Governors would almost certainly, as of now, vote against a relocation to either city, even though their bid's higher. Well, I get hold on. Let me slow down. Connecticut Governor Ned Lamont is expected to lobby NBA Commissioner Adam Silver to change his mind about Hartford in the coming days. But sources said the WNBA, which operates under Silver's jurisdiction, is entrenched in active conversations with the 9 cities who lost their bids for expansion teams. Houston is one of those 9. And the crux of those discussions is almost certainly relocation fees. And here's the really baffling part pertaining to Houston and Tilman. According to sources, any team that purchases and moves the Connecticut Sun will have to pay an additional undisclosed relocation fee, which would likely push the overall purchase to over $400 million or perhaps more. Under that scenario, the Houston group, led by Rockets owner Tilman Fertitta, likely the WNBA's preferred choice to buy the Sun, would pay roughly $300 million to the Mohegan tribe for the team, and then anywhere from $100 million to $150 million or even more to the league for relocation. Quote from a source: "Look, if Tillman wants to pay extra to have a WNBA team, and he's willing to pay $450 million, I can see that because then that helps the league for another expansion team." End quote. It just I got comments because then they can say, okay, all these future expansion teams are worth a minimum of $450 million. So if I was the league, what I would do is say, hey, if you want a team today and you want it to start next season and you want to leapfrog Detroit, Philly, and Cleveland, the next 3 expansion teams, well,
Mhm.
it's $450 million. Whatever number they pick, maybe $500 million. The league says you're going to give the tribe $300 million and you're going to give us the remainder. It's far better for the league to move the team from Uncasville to Houston and get a premium today for doing that than to move it from Uncasville to Hartford. I guess really what you're saying is, hey, I'm going to pay you premium to play now instead of in a year or 2 years. End quote. Who wants to go first?
Uh-huh.
All of the team, and this is an honest question, the teams who submitted a bid to be awarded an expansion franchise, as well as the other cities who were now coming into the mix, were they advised back in June that in order to be considered for relocation, they needed to submit a bid for expansion?
Probably not. And let me add these things for some context in case Tony, CA, and others watching on YouTube may not know. At the expansion announcement press conference, WNBA Commissioner Cathy Engelbert stated, basically shouted out Tillman and the city of Houston, as being the front runner for the next WNBA franchise. No idea why she said that out loud. Okay, so that is raising a lot of questions why she said that out loud. Last year at Rockets Media Day, Tillman said, among other things, I won't get into the part where he embarrassed himself, but he said he was going to put in a bid for a WNBA franchise because the city of Houston deserves it. And he said, even if it doesn't make money initially, the city of Houston deserves it. But he said his preference is to have an expansion franchise rather than a relocated franchise. Fast forward to this summer when Houston was not picked among the franchise cities. Now the Rockets PR people, Rockets folks in charge of the WNBA bid, we're willing to do anything, whatever it takes to get a WNBA team to Houston. September, you really wanted an expansion franchise. Now in April, May, and June this year, well, maybe we can go get a relocated franchise. Well, make it make sense.
That's your city, man. You tell me. The first thing, honestly, what I thought, just full disclosure, is when it said Ned Lamont was lobbying to Adam Silver, and I'm like, where's Cathy Engelbert in this? Because
she's the commissioner of the WNBA, yeah,
right. So, but he's bypassing her and going straight to Adam Silver.
Is he mansplaining? Like, what are we doing?
That was the first thought, to be completely transparent.
And let me also say this regarding Tilman's bid that was not accepted over Cleveland, Detroit, and Philly, right? Philly, right?
Philly, yep.
Tilman's bid was $50 million less than those other three cities.
There it is.
The other three winning bids.
So it's okay. So now, going back to your statement of what Cathy Engelbert said at the press conference, was it kind of a wink nod deal, like, Jay, just put something in the pot and I got you? I don't know.
There are so many questions
like a promissory note.
Yeah.
Because if he only bid $200 million for an expansion franchise and said publicly that was his preference, well, info from Tom Friend and other people, but now the price, you got a relocation fee on top of what you got to pay to the Mohegan tribe. We're talking $400, $450, or $500 million, and Tilman only bid $200 million.
Yesterday's price is not today's price.
And you're going to give the team to Tilman?
Yeah.
When you have two bids in the Northeast, Hartford and Boston, willing to pay $325 million for the Connecticut Sun, I am baffled. And let me be clear. Everybody who knows me, everybody who follows me in Houston Round Ball Review, I want the WNBA in Houston. Want it. I was one of a select few in the media that cover the Comets, cover the W, unlike anybody else in town. And my bank account showed it. Much love from the fans who supported the Houston Round Bar Review. More fans nationally than locally, unfortunately. It hasn't really changed over the years either. But, so I would love the W to come back to Houston. I'm not sure Tilman is the right owner for the team. And the next question, Will.
Yes, sir.
The Cleveland WNBA franchise is going to be the Rockers, right? Isn't it?
No.
The Rockers? No, it's not?
That was the former. That was the first.
Right, but I mean, that was one of the names that was rumored to be whatever.
No, they have.
Okay, good. I'm glad they're not doing that. Good, because I don't rehash old names.
Yeah,
it didn't work before. Don't bring it back. Don't do that. But Cleveland, new WNBA franchise, they're going to have their own facility, aren't they?
They are. The Cavs are building a new facility downtown, and their WNBA team will inherit the current facility that the Cavs have in Independence, halfway between Cleveland and Akron. You know.
So that's what I hope that they would do with the WNBA team in Houston. The Rockets have their own practice facility. It is not big enough to have the Houston WNBA team in that same facility. Didn't have enough space for the staffs, for both teams, players workouts, and to visiting teams as well. So it would make sense, Will and Kennetra, for the WNBA Houston team to move into the Rockets vacated stuff downtown. That has not been discussed. I've heard people talking about, well, the new WNBA team, if Houston gets one, would be in the Rockets facility. Everybody? With Kevin Durant, with the Rockets, I think, have hopes, Tony, CA37, have hopes of going far in the playoffs. So April, May, June, they're going to be in that practice facility. Well, if they don't allow the new WNBA team to the old Rockets facility and try to squeeze everybody in the new Rockets facility, come April, May, June, that's not going to work. Okay? Because the Rockets are going to make their playoff push, the drive for a championship. So where are you going to put the WNBA team and their staff? Where are they going to train? All these things make sense to me. I just but I'll also say this. Years ago, when Les Alexander sold the Comets to Hilton Koch, the league announced a sale price publicly. It was nowhere close to being what Hilton actually paid. Hilton paid much less. And then lo and behold, he struggled to make payroll. Lo and behold, he moved away from downtown into the arena, and the locker rooms were about as wide as if I stretched out my arms on both sides. I could interview KP, turn around and interview Will. That's how close it was. That's how small the locker rooms were. And then Hilton announced, then the team disbanded. So it would not shock me if Cathy Engelbert and her media sources announce a price of the Connecticut Sun coming to Houston of $500 million. When in reality, Tilman paid $200 million. Something along those lines, because it's been done before here in town. Hell, that's part of what the league did years ago for a lot of the franchises. But why? See, this is the question, Tony. Did he lowball them for a reason? Yeah, he did. The question is, was he given a wink of, go ahead and put out $200 million. We'll take care of you on the back end.
So then if I'm Dan Gilbert, I'm like, well, wait, my 325. Oh, no. You're not doing that.
Yes. See, that's why I don't understand why Commissioner Engelbert said publicly that Houston is favored to get the next WNBA franchise. Because that raised eyebrows right there. Why would you say that? Because folks who are thinking, who are awake, and I say that intentionally, who are awake and not sleep, would ask questions.
Who will be asleep, Chris?
No, just certain folks, certain parts of the country, all over the country, unfortunately. Why would she say that? Hartford and Boston, $325 million. Tilman put up $200 million. I'm kind of good in math. 325 is more than 200. And those groups were going to build practice facilities for that WNBA franchise, the relocated Connecticut Sun. But once Commissioner Engelbert said that about Houston being the favorite and front runner and all whatever. Then statements came out about the Board of Governors, the WNBA Board of Governors makes the final decision and prefers to recognize the teams that submitted bids for the expansion teams. So they're going to get the first in line to get a team rather than a relocated team in Hartford or Boston. Okay. If I'm Detroit, if I'm Philly, if I'm Cleveland, if I'm Toronto, Portland,
Miami.
hold up, we paid $250.
There's going to be a class action suit. Like,
Yeah, we paid $250 and almost $300. This man get it for $200? Oh, make it make sense to me, Commissioner Engelbert. So that's where I am, and I get myself in trouble for saying things.
But can we also address the inequity in salaries? Can before we expand and dilute the pool, can we compensate?
Well, you know how I feel. I think Will does as well.
Yeah.
They need to expand the rosters, team rosters, before they add teams. Most of these teams only have 11 players, and when injuries hit, they're down to 8 or 9, sometimes 7, because they cannot expand the roster to 15. But you're taking in money for the expansion fees, but initially, right now, the roster size is still going to be the same. What? And that's why one of the points of contention in these negotiations is the players want to increase the team roster size.